My mom had me prepped for my period like I was gonna get it at the age of 4. She read me books, gave me so much information, gave me books. We talked several times about it, whether it was uncomfortable or not, but she was like, oh, you're gonna know. But she's like, you were showing symptoms of your period since 5th grade. She was like, I was making sure that you were ready. I think it was 6th or 7th grade-ish. I was at home and one of my best friends was over and we were playing or whatever. And then apparently I went to the bathroom, started my period. I walked out to my mom and I looked at her and said, I started my period and I don't want to talk about it. And then I walked away. Looking at my life now, that's how I handle a lot of my crises.
My first period happened in 6th grade. I know nothing about periods at this point. My period had started for the first time. We were passing out papers and the papers come around to me and I had to stand up a little bit to get to the papers. And as I stood up, this kid in my class was like, hey, Stacy, what's on your butt? And I was like, what is on my pants? I don't know what is on my pants. So I looked down and on my gray chair, there was this huge stain that was brownish red. And I was like, oh, I don't know what that is. And then he said, oh, did you sit in mud or chocolate or something? And I was like, yes, I definitely sat in mud or chocolate. I went up to my teacher and I was like, hey, this is happening. I stained the chair. I stained my pants. What should I do? And she looks at me and she's like, oh, I don't know. So I went to the nurse's office to ask if they had any things that could help me. And no, they did not. I ended up going to the bathroom and I did the whole wrap toilet paper around your underwear. That didn't stop my stain. So I had to take off my favorite blue fleece Gap sweater and tie it around my waist. And I had to sit on the white letters of my sweater and stain them permanently with my first period.
I was 10. Ugh. I just remember one day feeling so bad. I'm also lactose intolerant, and so it felt like I was having the worst gas of my life. Then over the next couple days, I started noticing this brown stuff in my underwear. I legitimately thought I was shitting myself because it was brown. I had always thought that blood was red, but I wasn't even thinking this was a period. I remember just being so scared that last piece of dairy I had or something just ruptured a hole in my intestines and I was just shitting my pants. And then I had just never told my parents because how could I? Their 10-year-old was pooping her pants. How shameful is that? It was 2 or 3 days of that, going to sleep every night and being surprised to wake up because I just figured, oh, this was my time. There's something wrong with my body. I'm just going to die and no one will have to know that I died because I was shitting myself. Then I finally went to my mom. I just broke down in hysterics and she didn't even know what was happening because I couldn't even get the words out. I finally told her that I was pooping myself and had been for the past 5 days. So she's like, can you show me your underwear? And I was just like, no, you'll never see it. Just leave me alone to die. I finally showed it to her and was just like, I'm just pooping myself. And she was finally like, oh, I know what this is. Claire, you just got your period. I'm so proud of you. And she hugged me. And I think I just kind of blacked out.
So I got my period towards the end of 8th grade, which to me was a late bloomer age because basically all of my friends had already gotten their periods and I could never join in on their little period complaints. Nobody ever said it was a good thing, but I really wanted it because I didn't want to feel like a kid anymore. Towards the end of 8th grade, I was just on the toilet in the morning. I looked down, I saw blood, and after a minute, I realized that it was my period and I was super excited. I went straight to my mom and was like, Mom, I think I just had my period, thinking it was going to be a really big deal, like in the Cosby Show, because in the Cosby Show, they make it a big deal, it's called Women's Day, and they go out, they go to a spa, they take school off, they just get to do all kinds of girly, womanly things, and then the mom educates them about their period. And I thought that's what my mom was going to do. Then my mom was just in the middle of doing her makeup and kind of glanced at me, and she just said, okay, and tossed me a pad. It was super boring.
I got my period when I was exactly 10 years old. I got it on my birthday. I was having my birthday party in the park. I wake up and I'm getting ready and I'm really excited to go. And I go to the bathroom and I do a little pee-pee, but it's not a little pee-pee. I look in the toilet and it's red. I thought I was dying, and I was dying on my birthday. I cried, but I didn't cry because I thought I was dying. I cried because I thought I was gonna miss my birthday party. I didn't want my mom to know I was dying because I love my mom. I don't want to make her sad. So I just stayed in the bathroom for like 30 minutes. I guess my parents were like, what a weirdo. And then eventually my mom came in and was like, we gotta go to your park birthday party, child. I was crying, and she thought something was really wrong. She was like, are you okay? Are you sick? And then I was like, look at the toilet. And she was like, oh, it's just your period. Here you go. And I was like, this is a diaper? Like, what? This doesn't fix the dying problem. And then she was like, oh no, it's like this thing that happens. You just like bleed out of your vagina once a month until you die. She didn't even tell me it was like called a pad. She just gave me this thing. She was like, put it on your underwear. And I was like, oh, okay.